We're heading to the Greg Judy's farm, greener pastures. Excited to see Greg. We're going to talk about some cattle. We're going to talk about grazing, when he moves, where he moves. And honestly, Greg's one of my top heroes, people that I watched and learned a lot from for grazing. So I'm just kind of fanboy, to be completely honest. And Weston is hopefully taking notes and learning a lot. So I think this video will be sweet. Make sure you follow along.
We've got a lot tighter calving. We set a record this year. We'd never had 9 in one day, but we had 9 and we had 3 days of 8, a bunch of 7s, 6s. We never had a single day where we just had 1. But they all, in that first cycle, in the first 21 days, I'm gonna say 90% of them bred. And we've never had that, which is nice. It's.
So all your breeding's done now, almost before June 1st, or all your calving's done before June 1st, and you put them back in July 1st. You give them about a month.
Yeah. Well, last year we gave them 60 days. We're talking about doing 2 cycles this year. 45 days. Yeah. You can go ahead. Yeah. We'll go on up. Okay. Yeah. Yep. We'll go up here and they'll bring them toward us.
I kind of started moving middle of the day because we have so much clover. Because I transitioned to corn bean field. First few years, it was like 90% red clover.
Right.
That's when I started moving to midday, stay out of that morning dew, and it's kind of that's kind of the habit now.
Have you killed anything?
No, from having that much clover.
Yeah.
No, I was. It was really bad just the first year, and I was real worried about it, and I was trailing with dry hay. I'd throw a square bale in with them.
Okay. So what the boys have been doing is the morning move, they give them a slightly smaller paddock, and then you get a little better density in that morning move. Then that helps you. They're just a little bit more apt to move at noon because they're kind of hungry. You shorten them a little bit. Boy, they just go crashing out onto that. I don't care how hot it is, they go. And of course, that's right when you want them to be grazing. It's when that bricks is really high in the grasses. And another thing, by getting them out where they've been back in the shade ruminating, they're moving away from that fly load.
Yeah. And
so far this year, we haven't had a single case of pink eye, and we didn't have any last year. That's the first time that's ever happened. So we always get some.
We have I actually graze Mark Shepherd's. We contract grazing this year. So the guy brought 30 steers. And 3 of them started getting a swelled up eye, tearing up. Pink eye, right?
Yeah.
Well, they already have a clouded over eye.
Mm.
They're blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's clouded over.
Yeah, the 3 that I've been watching last week. Now I noticed this week have clouded over eyes.
Well, now sometimes if it's still weeping, they're still going through the pink eye. Once it stops weeping, sometimes that cloud will go back. Clear up, and all you have is a spot, and they'll be fine. They can see. But right now, they got the eye shut all the time. Yeah, they can't see out of it. But you'd be surprised. Sometimes they will heal.
Well, I called the guy, and I'm like, "What do you want me to do?" Because I've actually never had it. Because I've always, we have some that will tear up.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I'm like, I've never seen that. It actually swelled up and.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, as long as it doesn't get into both eyes, just."
Yeah, because then they go blind, completely blind. You got to process them, They can't get around. We actually left off a third of all of our farms. We haven't even grazed them this year. And so we gave them a sabbatical, and we're going to go back in there in July, about the 3rd week of July. We got grass that's this tall.
Yeah.
But there's regrowth coming up in there. And so what we're going to do is we'll put the cows together. By that time we have the bulls in there, and we're going to be moving them. But there's a lot of good regrowth in the form of orchard grass, red clover. There's This is going to be a really good year for Korean Lespedeza. So they eat that, but they trample all this stuff on the ground. And boy, you can get that much carbon trampled on the ground. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what it does for your pasture fertility. There's our tree swallows. We've got 500 tree swallow houses up across our farms. And an adult pair of tree swallows eat 8,000 flies a day. So that's one of our natural fly control. And tree swallows want their houses out in the middle of the field. If you put it too close to a tree, of all things, they don't use them, and you're more apt to get a damn sparrow in them. And I don't like sparrows in the tree swallow houses. I don't mind a bluebird. I mean, I just noticed this little house here had bluebirds in it. Bluebird's a Missouri state bird, and you know they eat insects too, but I don't like sparrows. There's the pond for the water. And then we move them into the next field. There's another pond. I built 42 ponds over the years, and we've got rock skirts on every one of them now. So I don't, you know, we started out putting pipes in them and valves and tanks and all that. You can put a 16-foot wide rock skirt on one for about $1,000. If you buy the tank and the pad and the valve, and then you take a chance on the valve leaking because you put a pipe in there. And then you got it behind the pond where that's where all your manure's at. Where here, the skirts, we usually put them kind of on the front. I don't know, I'm kind of going more of the rock skirts now. That new farm we just bought, we put 4 in on it.
Yeah, I saw it and it held together well with the rain.
Yes, very well.